Hello, everyone. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you. Hello, welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, like to say, big giant thank you to my moderators for holding down the comment section. And I know that you all have been working hard lately, because, you know, some of the things that we talk about, people want to get in here and get the acting up, and y'all be like, there's a one-way ticket, right? So I love and appreciate you for that. Today, we're going to continue on talking about that of, I should say, the late Charlie Kirk. Of course, you guys know what happened to him yesterday, but I'll give you a refresher in just a moment. But we're going to be talking about his white supporter saying it's time to rise again against the oppressor, or opposition, rather, the opposition. And I'm going to show you a compilation that I put together. And then I'm also going to kind of give those who are like, well, I don't understand why people feel indifferent to Charlie Kirk. I'm going to show you a compilation that I put together as well, so you can get kind of why some people are not mourning that of Charlie Kirk. But I also want to say, let's please be respectful like we were yesterday. I know there's people who are doing the most and crashing out and acting out. Y'all know I'm not going to do that. And as I said, I love you all dearly. But if y'all want to get into that kind of stuff, there's a lot of people all over the internet that y'all could go into the comment sections, and they, you know, gonna get it crunk and all that other stuff. But I will also say this: be careful, because I've been spending a lot of time on the internet today, just kind of seeing everything that's going on. And there's been quite a few people who've lost their jobs because the Charlie Kirk supporters are doxing people. They are calling their jobs and getting them fired, right? And doxing them and finding out where they live. So as I said to someone earlier, if you have something to lose, please be careful of what you say, because you can say things, don't mean that you should, right? So yeah, let's just be mindful of that. Donovan.
All right, welcome you guys to this Demetra K show. Welcome, glad to have you guys back. I am finally back now that my internet and stuff is back up. Whew, Lord, it's been a journey. But anyway, do us a favor. If you guys want to continue to have these great conversations, you guys know what to do. There's a scrolling banner at the bottom: Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, money orders, cash, however you guys want to do it. Also, please, please, please do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel. Original content is being created there as well. Not only do you get great videos from Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, Dickie Dillard, Wongale, and the rest of the contributors there, but you get Emancipation Channel, and you get videos that you don't necessarily see on your YouTube channel in the YouTube channel over there. So it's original content, videos that you never see. And, you know, these are conversations that you cannot necessarily talk about on YouTube platform. It's their platform. So if you go to that platform, we can talk how we talk and do what we want to do. African Diaspora News Channel app, Google Play, Apple Store. Let's get into this. I was watching everything yesterday, how that went down. I had some stuff I had to do, so I really wasn't up on it, but saw a few videos, saw what was happening, got a few calls, and very interesting. But I want to hear what you guys have to say in regards to this great conversation. And again, thank you guys for being the best co-hosts on the net.
Absolutely. Shinigami, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Elon's ex is a trip. Perry, how you doing? Says again, they will turn on each other just like the evil intentions and weaponry will turn on them. No worries here. Absolutely. JCD, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He said from the low end of Chicago. Well, welcome. And yeah, average logical thinker, I saw what you said. I just couldn't put that up on the screen, your first comment. But yeah, I got you. Anyway, let's get into it. So just to kind of give you guys a refresher for a lot of y'all who are like, what's going on, right? Unless you live under a rock or something. So anyway, Charlie Kirk, who, you know, was killed yesterday, was a well-known conservative political activist in the U.S. Again, he co-founded Turning Point USA around 2012, a group focused on mobilizing young conservatives, free markets, limited government, etc. He was also active as a media personality, podcast, social media, often aligned with the MAGA and a Trump wing of politics. So he was well-loved with MAGA, well-loved by Trump. Some even said that he was considered to be like part of, the family there with the Trumps, if you will. Now, of course, you guys know, unfortunately, on yesterday, Charlie was speaking at an outdoor event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, as a part of his American Comeback Tour. About 20 minutes into the event, while speaking, he was shot in the neck. Now, again, if you have not seen that video, please don't go look at it if you're squeamish. And, if you want to preserve your sanity, because it is kind of hard to watch, right? It's almost unreal. Like, did that really happen? And it did, unfortunately. Now, the shot appears to have been fired from a rooftop of a building approximately 200 yards or 180 meters. So they're saying that's about 2 football fields. So whoever did this was some sort of a marksman or whatever the case is, right? Because it was pretty accurate. And as y'all told me, he got hit in his jugular. Okay. So it says, though there has been some revisions in distance. So they're kind of going back and forth. But after being shot, Kirk was taken to a hospital where he later died. Now, authorities believe this was a targeted attack. It's like, really? You think? Anyway, a high-powered bolt-action rifle believed to be the weapon has been recovered from a wooded area near the campus. Now, investigators have a good video footage showing the shooter's movements before and after the shooting, including on a rooftop and fleeing into a neighborhood. Now, I don't have a picture of the guy. You guys, it's been all over the internet. He appears to be white. I'm just going to say that, right? The suspect is described as likely college age and able to blend in with students, right? So, because Utah is pretty white. It looks like the crowd was pretty white, so he didn't raise any eyebrows, if you will. Now, 2 people were taken into custody initially, 1 person of interest, another. Both were later released after law enforcement determined that they had no ties to the shooting. Now, y'all might have saw the video of the one guy that they were dragging and his pants was falling down and stuff. See, that is kind of odd because he almost was kind of alluding to maybe he has something to do with it. I don't know if he was saying that he's not going to say anything or he's not, something like that, right? Now, there's been theories out there as maybe he was a smoke screen or a diversion for whoever did it to get away. So, of course, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Now, the FBI and other agencies have released a photo of a person of interest, and a reward up to $100,000 is being offered for information. And my thing is like, listen, Charlie was known among all the big ballers in the country, right? $100,000 for information. Elon, they gave $1 million to Irina Zaruska, I think that's her name, the one that was killed in North Carolina on the bus. $1 million here and there, and all y'all got is $100,000 for Charlie. Anyway, let me shut up because it ain't my money. Now, the identity of the shooter has not been confirmed. Motive is not publicly established. Whether the person of interest in the release images is the shooter is unconfirmed. So they're saying we see a person, we still don't know if that's the person. They don't know where he is. I've seen things about a flight that took off from the area shortly after the shooting, but then it comes up missing on whatever it is that they're supposed to track planes for some time, and then it comes back up. Again, this is all conspiracy theories, of things that I've heard. Now, for those of y'all who are still like, well, what's the big deal? Why are so many people mad at Charlie? Now, there's a whole lot of people, but I'm going to cover it from the Black American perspective, right? There's feminists, there's LGBTQ, there's, a whole host of people who did not like Charlie Kirk's rhetoric and the things that he was saying. So I took the liberty to put a couple of things together so that you can kind of get an idea as to why Black people are like, I'm not mourning. Okay, so here we go.
Exactly what's going on here? Well, very few people are willing to actually call this out. From the first time that this was floated as a federal holiday, I am thankful and proud to say on this program we opposed it. This is not about out of many one. No, it's about a certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. The exact same thing that happens before NFL games where they play the Black National Anthem. This recognition of this as a quote-unquote federal holiday comes right out of the 1619 Project. Look who's most excited that this is a federal holiday. And they're not talking about this as a massive celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Now we have a full day to be able to smear and slander white America. George Floyd that was overdosing on drugs, right? That also, did you know that what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd was actually in the police manual training? It was completely justified and was trained by his superiors to do. Now, let me ask you a question. How many unarmed black people, on average, are killed by police a year?
Well, I'd have to look up that statistic.
Guess.
Probably over 50%.
It's 15 people a year. 15. What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them?
I cannot think of a percentage right now to give you.
25%. So only 1 out of 4 blacks in America have a mom and a dad around. Do you think that is a bigger issue to address than racism? Do you think more dads is a better solution?
How could dads be connected directly? Like, how
dads are very connected.
And what about, okay.
When you have a dad around, you're less likely to be violent as a male, less likely to go to prison.
So explain to me why all the fathers are leaving.
Exactly. Why are they leaving?
Question for you.
Because black women married the government and divorced the men that they were. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. You should be kissing the ground because you're right. You didn't come here by choice. But hold on, I'm telling you right now, you should be kissing the ground with gratitude because you're right. You are not in Africa. And you should be thankful you're not in Africa, that you're in the United States of America. Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the #1 killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
Okay, so let me remove Charlie Kirk's greatest hits. And I'm loosely with greatest, right? So, of course, y'all heard him say a whole bunch of incendiary things. And as I learned a little bit more about Charlie Kirk, he sure had a whole lot of things to say about black people. And I wonder, why is he so hyper fixated on black people, right? He's talking about the black on black crime, right? But it's like, we know crime is about proximity. There's, if there's black on black crime, then there's white on white crime as well. But he always seemed like he was just trying to get the black community together. Now, mind you, Charlie Kirk was only 31 years old. So where was he getting this from, right? Now, mind you, I should also say, for you veterans out there, and I might be one, I don't know, Trump is talking about giving him the Medal of Freedom. They lowered the flags, half staff, and this, that, and the other, right? So y'all can do with that what you will. But so that's just a small snippet of the stuff that he was saying. Now, with that, there's a lot of people who look like him who are like, hey, you know what? Enough of the BS. Here you go.
It's time we rise.
And that's the final straw for me. War now. Your violent rhetoric towards conservatives will no longer be tolerated. Friend, family, foe, or perfect stranger, it does not matter. If I hear you spew your violent rhetoric towards conservatives around me, I'm going to respond tenfold. I'm going to take your rhetoric as a direct threat, and I'm going to defend myself with extreme prejudice.
When the left wakes up tomorrow and realizes that somebody that agrees with them assassinated the equivalent of Martin Luther King Jr. and the movement that Charlie Kirk had created in this country, the political movement, a political assassination, they are not going to know what to do with themselves. They're celebrating right now. They are. All you have to do is look across this platform, look across X. They are celebrating right now. But I'm going to tell you, I'm having conversations with my 2 boys in college down here in the South, and you have no idea what you have just awoken in the college-age youth. You have no clue what you just did. This is the equivalent of assassinating Martin Luther King.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
Okay, so as y'all saw there, that was a small snippet of people who are crashing out and saying, hey, you know what? It's time to rise. And y'all know, if you know, the rise is considered something that's closely associated with the Klan, right? Back the rise of the Klan again, right? So that's the kind of talk that they're having. But it should also be said that, give me a second, because there's some other stuff we need to add to the fold here, that HBCUs are being targeted today. So it says on September 11th, which is today, and it's 9/11 and all that. Numerous HBCUs went into lockdown following coordinated threats of violence. Affected institutions included Alabama State, Hampton University, Virginia State, and Clark Atlanta University. Now the FBI is investigating the September 11th threats as hoax threat calls. Though the agency takes them seriously due to the risks they pose. Now, the incident occurred amid a wave of political violence and threats following the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a university the day before. However, officials have not confirmed a direct link between the events. Now, lawmakers such as Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries condemned the threats as despicable and called for a federal investigation into potential domestic terrorism. Reverend Al Sharpton also spoke out against the violence, noting the series of attacks HBCUs have faced in recent years. People are being doxxed, as well as I said. This has nothing to do with the HBCU, but people are being doxxed, terminated, and a whole host of other things for saying things about Charlie Kirk, celebrating or just saying, hey, I'm not going to mourn him. But I want to know, the question I'm going to give it to you, Donovan, is what happened to freedom of speech? Who is freedom of speech really for, right? Because they're saying, oh, Charlie was taken out of here for freedom of speech, and he was exercising freedom of speech. Let's keep it a buck. But they don't want anybody else to have it because they're trying to, get them fired and stuff. And I thought that the right was about canceling cancel culture. So, Donovan, what say you?
All right. A lot of stuff there, a lot of information there. My number one question, everybody, is this. This was a young man, 31 years old, going to be 32 this year. He passed away at 31. That young man could be my son. Why are these post-civil rights era grandchildren so damn racist? That's the number one question you got to ask yourself. Where are they getting their racism from? These are this would be, I'm Generation X. This would be equivalent to my children's age. Why are they so damn racist? Also, I want you guys to use your common sense. Have you guys seen a similar pattern here? There always seems to be a patsy in these assassinations. There's always one person. It's never a group of people. It's one person. And like for those of you guys that know anything about planes, when you're being tracked by radar and stuff, especially from ATC, there's a thing called the transponder. You could turn the transponder off, and then you're not on the blip. You're not being targeted anymore, and the plane's not responding back to the ATC. So that's how sometimes the planes can disappear. But I want you guys to think about this. 1930s, in the Nazi regime, I'm going to read this. The Nazi regime often used the deaths of its members to create propaganda and mythologize their cause. This is exemplified by the case of Horst Wessel, an SA member whose 1930 murder by communists was spun into a heroic tale of martyrdom. What does this sound like to you guys? A 31-year-old kid is being spun as this martyr of righteous whiteness and all this other stuff. And I'm not here to, bash anybody, God bless the dead, good, bad, or indifferent. But do you guys see, when you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it? When this first thing happened, that's the first thing I thought. Look at how the white folks are ginned up like this guy did such great things. Right? We're going to rise up. An obese, fat, white kid with a ice cream in his hand is nothing to be afraid of. But I will do this. And I blame a lot of you mothers out there, especially you black moms. And I do blame this. By following the rhetoric of the Democratic Party helped to disarm the black community, the legal disarming of the black community that are registered gun owners. Oh, I'm afraid of guns. I don't want guns in my house. This day was going to come. You don't see them going to the white neighborhoods asking for the gun buyback program, but in the black neighborhoods, you see them doing it. Just because your teenage son or your 20-something-year-old son bought a gun doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We have no friends. This is why it is important. And like I said, and I'm not trying to stereotype all mothers and stuff together. You guys know what I'm saying when I'm saying that. I hate, Demetra, I really hate having to classify, this group from that group. An intelligent person does not believe in absolutism. So if it doesn't apply to you, it just doesn't apply, okay? So I'm not into all that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about and what we're talking about, okay? We have been disarmed in our community. We are surrounded on every end. And if you are a female leading your home, I don't give a damn if you are or not, can you defend your home? This is what it's come down to, because we are in the most racist country in the world. And you guys know that. You guys know this. But look at the playbook. Everything goes back to history. My mother used to say this all the time. There is nothing new under the sun. I just read to you guys one of the reasons why the Nazi Party rose in Germany. They will use members and martyr them. Thus, they are trying to say Charlie Kirk is equivalent to Martin Luther King Jr. Isn't that martyrdom? What do you guys think?
Yeah, and then on one hand, it's like they hated Martin Luther King Jr., right? But now they're trying to liken Charlie Kirk to him. So it's like, I can't make sense of none of it. But my thing is, out of all the people you can say that he is like Martin Luther King Jr., y'all don't have some, people like yourselves that you can compare him to. So to me, that said that they were directly speaking to us, as Black people. But my thing is, and y'all is asking what the guy looks like. He looks white to me, right? He looks like he's white. So I'm trying to figure out, what does any of that have to do with us? We didn't send the guy, or, I doubt that anybody Black had anything to do with that. So it's like, what are you mad for? Yeah, they're mad because there are people who are celebrating and dancing around and singing and stuff. I'm not partaking in any of that. I can't tell other people not to do it, but it's like, that's a freedom of speech. You know what I mean? That the right wing says that they care so much about. So it's like, y'all gonna let a little bit of dancing and singing get you mad? But how many times did we see those same group of people cosplaying, even their children, right? In the classroom, they're doing the George Floyd, right? And that's when they playing like somebody got a knee on somebody's neck. I mean, we've seen it a whole bunch of times after George Floyd death. They thought it was funny, right? But now here it is, where somebody that's beloved to them has gone on. Now it's, we gonna rise again, and we ain't putting up with it. It's like, so you don't believe in freedom of speech, right? And I'm just trying to make sense of things. Magnetter says he sure has a way of spinning things into a way that makes us look bad, pretty much. Yeah, but that's what you call a silver tongue, right? Again, he went on college campuses, as I said, arm wrestling little kids. That's what he was doing, right? He didn't go to nowhere prestigious and have no real adult conversations. And they talking about he was shaping the thought of the youth. It's like, well, what youth are you talking about? And did you hear the stuff that was coming out of his mouth? I didn't hear him talking to white folks the way he talked about Black folks. So it's like, what was he shaping them to do other than be racist, right? And so again, as I say, there's people who are mad at the people who aren't mourning. It's like, why are y'all mad? This man, especially with Black people, ran around saying all the greasiest things he can think of, right? He dug in the crates of all these statistics and turned them around and this, that, and the other. It's like, nobody asked you, homie, to come run your mouth on Black Americans. And then everybody, they're so mad you guys are right. I mean, have y'all seen the people who got snot running out of their face and crying and And listen, I'm not trying to tell people how to mourn, but y'all doing too much in regards to trying to control how other people are not affected by that. You know what I mean? Elizabeth, how you doing? Said he thought he was safe. Yeah, apparently, right? And again, he was there talking bad about Black people, and it was nobody Black doing that to him. Facts Not Feelings says Kirk was not denigrating FBAs. He was denigrating Black people. Kirk does not care about your FBA status. So you're talking to somebody else, and I can't decipher the comments and who you're talking to. Wedding at Connor, how you doing? Philip, what's going on with you? JBWR, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm so behind. I'm going to get all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to give it back to Donovan. So I'm going to acknowledge everybody once. JBWR says, not going to lie, Black women marrying the government was kind of accurate. It's no more accurate than a white woman doing it. You know what I mean? But like I said, Charlie Kirk, see, I want to tell the whole story part of it. Charlie Kirk out there spewing off all these statistics, but he don't never mention the role that his people had in any of it. right? Because when we had our Black Wall Streets and slogans in Allentowns and Rosewoods, we wasn't married to no government, because first of all, it wasn't no government. All we had is each other. But he don't tell the part about when we had our own towns and we were independent and a Black man and a Black woman was together 100% of the time. He don't talk about when his people came in there and destroyed every goddamn thing we had. See, so we got to make sure we give it the whole story. But see, he wasn't talking to people who can say, wait a minute, homie, you telling half the story. And the other thing, like I said, is why is you in our business? Why do you care so much about what Black people are doing? Yeah, and again, I don't know a whole lot about the meaning of poetic justice, but you was running your mouth about Black people, and it was somebody who looked a lot like him that took him out of here. So he sounded like he should have been focusing on his own folks. I don't know. I'm just trying to, follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I think it's kind of poetic that he's talking about the father, Black father in the home, when it was the white man that took the Black father out of the home. I mean, he had it like you said, he's telling half the story. Oh, well, the Black woman divorced the thing and married the government and, whatever. Now, whose idea was that? That was systematic racism controlled by the white government. See, and like you said, he's going to these young people who don't have enough sense enough to really care or look this stuff up. The biggest question, and we all should be asking ourselves this, why are these kids 2 generations left post-civil rights so damn racist? Why are these white kids so damn racist? This doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, they've all said it, right? Trump, all of them talking about, he was so influential on the youth. He was shaping the views of the youth, and the youth really love him. So to answer your question, Donovan, why are they so damn racist? Because they've never not been racist, right? That's something that they've always taught all the way from even before the plantation, right? That's something that they passed down, white supremacy and Black inferiority to anybody else who's inferior to them, right? That's what they thought. So when they say he was going around shaping the views of people, what was he shaping them to do? Was he saying, hey, you're a good white man, and this is what white women should be doing? Or was he running around talking about gay people, Black people, women, and anybody that was not like him, right? So it's like, to me, it sounds like he should have spent more time talking about, because that was the question that he got before he, whatever he transitioned, was about trans mass shooters. Right now, we know the majority of mass shooters are who? And white folks. But then he transitioned to talking about Black people, and the gang violence was the last words that he uttered.
And I say this all the time. In every community, I don't care if you're Asian, Latino, Black, white, whatever, the most influential person in a community is the woman. She's the first teacher. She's this. God bless his family that he left behind. But, I looked at the picture of his wife, and I'm saying, how could any woman of any substance would be married to a monster that spews the views that this man spews, and to be silent about it? But again, complicity is complicity. She went right along with it. It is what it is. But fellas, these white people in general, but the white women, man, I'm talking about the devil's den. I'm telling you guys, these are the people. Okay, what I'm trying to say basically is Charlie Kirk is one thing being a man and out front, right? We see him, we hear him, we do all this. The real, not problem, but the core problem of racism is what's taught at home, just like what you just said, Demetra. And who's teaching the children? The mother.
Yeah, and they daddies, Byron, how you doing? Says power tools needed. So I see y'all still talking about those gentlemen who are saying it's time to rise again, right? And it's like, talking about white men, what is it, unite or rise up or whatever the case is. It's like, when have you been ununited, Like, if you don't go on some doggone where, see, usually too, that's a lot of people who be all up on the internet talking, walking tall and talking tough, but it's like, you ain't gonna line it up on the streets, homie. You sound, big and tough or whatever, but it's whatever. Like I said, what do we even have anything to do with it? We don't. Asha, how you doing? Says they're making excuses to come after us. We're not having it. Nah, because it ain't got nothing to do with us. Double A, how you doing? Says, did the assailant do this to start a race war? I mean, to me, if it, I can see that theory, but to me, if he was doing to start a race war, I think he'd have to be black or somebody other than white, because he looks white, right? So I don't know about the race war thing. I think that's something that they've always wanted to do, but we're not engaging with them. We're not interested in anything that they're doing, right? They want to make us the problem, but it's like, we're not the problem. Apparently y'all the problem, right? Because the person y'all falling out in the streets over, he's gone due to somebody that looked like them.
All right. And in history, real quick, recent history, you guys, who else tried to start a race war and blame everything on black people? See, I don't know why they keep trying this stuff, because history's proven it doesn't work, but they keep doing it. Dimitri, would you happen to know in recent history who also tried to start a race war?
In recent history?
In recent history.
Like how recent?
Here in California. He's a good friend of yours. I was only 25 years old when I met Michael, but he's here in California. Or he was here in California.
Dr. Loomis?
Close. Charlie Manson. They still got it. Charles Manson. Yeah, that's what they tried to do. You have the blacks and you blame it on the blacks. It's going to start a race war. It never works.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's not really recent, but yeah, I'm familiar with Charlie Manson. Yeah, he was trying to blame it on the blacks and all of that. Yeah, he loved Hitler too, you know. Okay, so let's see. Going down. And Magneto, thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you. Carrie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else do we have on here? Let's see. I want to make sure I catch up because I'm so behind and I'm so sorry. The first ethnic Tutneys, how you doing? Says it never stopped too. Many of the boomers and Xers were too stupid and distracted by post-racialism to press the issue. So I get where you're going with that. We thought, okay, racism is over. Especially, you know, the boomers, they were kind of young during the civil rights movement. And then we were taught, I'm an Xer, that everything's all good now. Racism doesn't exist anymore, right? And we largely walked in that, and then surprise, right? Asha, you saying any military people know if those hand gestures those men were doing behind him saying something? I've heard a lot about it maybe being doctored or whatever the case is. So, you know, there's really no telling. The oh God, how you doing? Says what they're doing right now with a German in office. I don't know who that is, but okay. Anthony, how you doing? Says those inbreds don't make any kind of sense. We mind our business, but they still try to involve us in their BS. Yeah, because they have been taught that we are the problem, but it's like y'all went and got the problem, right? Y'all went and got the problem, put them on those plantations and all that other stuff, and now y'all been mad at us. Black people, like, we really are pretty good at minding our own business. Not to say we ain't nosy, right? But we don't really be meddling in today's stuff like that. And so I think they're trying to find a way to bring us into it. But it's like, you're mad because people are dancing and celebrating again. I'm not saying that's right. I can't tell people what to do either, but they're not harming anybody. The real harm is why you're mad, you know? So I don't know. Jobo, how you doing? Says 31 is not a kid. In the larger scheme of things, it is a kid to be leading such a movement. I know Dr. King was young as well, but to be leading such a movement, and he's been doing it for since 2012, right? I think since they said he was like 18 or something like that. So he's a kid in the larger scheme of things. I'm 54 years old. My daughter's 32. So that's a kid to me, right? With such influence, and he was half cocked all the time. But even people as old as Trump, who will be almost 80, and people, you know, in between, they thought he was a truth speaker. You know, he's speaking truth to power. But in essence, he was just, you know, especially in regards to Black people, he was spreading a bunch of stereotypes and just, you know, half-baked statistics and things like that. But again, why are you so worried about Black people? You know, y'all supposed to be the most superior people on the planet, but y'all worried about the inferior people. None of this makes any sense. So basically what he was doing is influencing younger generations of people like him to continue hating Black people for absolutely no reason. Biz, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. She, her love life, how you doing? Says, let them rise up. God's in control. Come on now. Tyrone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Cynthia, he says there were certain statements that I did agree and support Mr. Kirk on as well. He says, also, I disagree. Still, no one deserves to be targeted to their death because of their own personal political opinions. I totally agree. I don't think that anything that he said is a death sentence. But I think the anger is misdirected, directed at the person that did it, or the person and the people that look like him. Why are you mad with everybody else? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Steele, how you doing? Says, that's when I forgive my enemies after they are 6 feet deep. The one and only. How you doing? Says, this is MAGA versus MAGA racists wanting a civil war so bad. F Trump. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of them versus, or the Republicans versus Democrats, and they're really mad at the liberals. They're the ones that's at fault. This, that is like, my Lord, when are people gonna learn, right? It's crazy. Again, it has nothing to do with us. Let me skip down. Larry L, how you doing? Says, to save our kids, we need to boycott sports, to take trillions of dollars out of the economy to stop their racist hate. Yeah, we should be doing that, right? Regardless of what they got going on, we should be doing that. Tico, how you doing? Says, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Come on now. Michelle Holloway, how you doing? Says, he said that children should be allowed to see. But yeah, I saw that public executions. The video is viral. So his kids and the world saw his execution.
Ooh, that's powerful. And you think about it. If you go back in history, again, you want to hide something from a black person, you put it in a book. This is why a lot of these young kids that could be my grandkids, they are so damn ignorant. They just don't get it. They don't have a clue. They don't know what's going on. Now, history shows that when there was a lynching in the South and even up here in the North, the white folks always brought their children, packed a picnic basket, and brought the family out to watch the bloodlust. This is what they did.
Yeah. You know, so that all to your earlier point, Donovan, where they learned it from, this is something they never unlearned, right? You think that, so y'all think when Charlie was talking about children should be able to see executions, do you think he was talking about people who look like him? He wasn't talking about people that look like him. He was talking about people that look like us, right? Then why would you want your little bitty innocent child to see something so horrible, right? Well, to your point, Donovan, because it was American as apple pie to go to a picnic, right? And watch the feet dangle of Black Americans from those trees. And they had all of them. They got souvenirs of the body parts, just that and the other. And one of the first things they did was yaga off his manhood or whatever the case is. And sometimes they, preserve that as a keepsake and all of that.
Well, Miss Ann did.
But so yeah, when he says they should be able to see these executions, he's only talking about things that they did back in the day. So he's not reinventing anything. Frank, he says we have a lot of our people that suffer from self-hate issues. You ain't lying. Absolutely. AJM, how you doing? Says first, it's not just white people, it's conservatives in general. Conservatives come in all different races. You have the Brandon Tatums, the Greg Formans, the Candace Owens conservatives. Yeah, and I saw that they put Candace Owens on this list of people who need to be next. And she retweeted and she was like, well, this breaks my heart. And I'm like, it breaks your heart? Wow, you had a whole lot of greasy things to say about everybody. And somehow you thought you would be absolved from being on the so-called list or whatever this is. But see, the thing about Candace is, God forbid, and I hope nothing happens to her, but God forbid something happens to her, they ain't going to fall out over her like they doing Charlie. What would have all been for? So you could get a butter biscuit from Massa.
Yeah, and I just want to add this real quick. You guys do not be fooled, as you're going to see the Democrats are going to use this as a talking point to say, see, we're better than them and this and that. A white person is a white person. This is what one thing people get confused when it comes to new black media. They think that new black media is pro-Trump or pro this. No. We're very independent. We don't care what side of the aisle you go on. The fact of the matter is we want you to understand, if they got a D in front of their name or if they got an R in front of their name, if they are white, it's one people, one group. There's no difference between what they're doing and how they're doing to us. In my opinion, the Democratic Party has done more damage to the black community than the Republican Party has. But they're both the same party in the modern age. They don't give a damn about us. Citizens United, has either party repealed Citizens United, since that's the problem in politics? None have. So don't let the Democrats, I don't care local level or national level, use this as to say, see, you need to vote for us because look how violent everything is getting and this, that. No, They're the same damn people.
Absolutely. African Native says if someone is publicly hateful to a group, it's in our right to be publicly grateful for his passing. Until the completion of my engineering diploma in Germany, Jews never forgot. Yeah, well, I think it's one thing to never forget, but to you say be publicly grateful. I don't think we need to do that. I can't tell anybody else what to do. I'm not going to be publicly grateful for someone losing their life. I think it's a waste of energy to be publicly grateful because in a sense you're gloating. And again, what you champion for other people, you also got to remember those words come back and they do not come back void. So you just have to be careful. Again, I'm not trying to tell anybody else what to do. I'm just speaking for me. That's not how I do things. So yeah. Alexander, how you doing? Says he knew he wasn't safe. He was getting death threats for years. In the end, it was the white alphabet satanic far left that got him. So I didn't hear anything about who the person was. Maybe y'all know more than me at this point, but I don't know. Alan, how you doing? Says judgment and karma will always find the perpetrator. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Leather and luxury cars. How you doing? Says his wife should be charged with child endangerment, having their kids in that house, knowing the risk with things. He said she should have packed up the kids and left empty for the kids only. Yeah, and they said that the wife and the children all saw what happened to him, but she knew who she was married to. She knew. She wasn't oblivious to who she was married to.
Right, and if she saw the assassination, okay, great. Martin Luther King's children and wife saw him getting assassinated.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were there, but I'm sure they've seen the footage, right? You talking about Malcolm X? For sure, I believe his wife. But yeah, okay. Skipping on down, no reparation, no vote. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Patrick, what's going on with you? Let's see, MVP, Ash D, what's going on? Bidget says, both y'all right. I just feel bad for his kids. Yeah, you know, the kids are innocent, right? So yeah, I mean, that's horrible. But you know, like I said, and I said it yesterday, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. You got to be careful of the things you put out there because, you know, a lot of the things that Charlie was saying, he never envisioned any of that for him, right? When he was saying, well, somebody got to die for Second Amendment rights, he wasn't thinking about him or anybody else. He was thinking about somebody else, you know? So all the things that he spewed, he wasn't thinking about himself being a victim of any of that, right? So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people said that, I won't repeat it, but nevertheless, yeah. Miss Sweet says, Dimitri, this was said your live stream yesterday. He says we black people would be blamed for this. We weren't nowhere by the event. Oh yeah, they always try to blame us and like for what? We ain't do nothing, right? Easy. And yes, Mike, it starts at home. And Easy says, D talk about his motive behind so-called free speech, mobilizing young conservatives, shaping public discourse on culture wars and conservative identity, framing himself as a free speech advocate. Yeah, and I think I probably said, I know I'm behind in the comments, but he was a free speech advocate, but the people who are celebrating or, you know, whatever they're doing, that's free speech, but they don't want them to have it. So you mean you just want free speech for people like y'all and nobody else? I mean, what are we doing? Mr. Brooks, how you doing? Says behind closed door talk. Yeah, some things you just need to say behind closed doors. But as I said, I saw a great movie a couple of weeks ago and it said attention is the new currency, right? People don't know how to shut up. They need the attention. Oh, everything that comes to my mind, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to get on the, you know, and the social media, this post this and this thing. And it's like, shut up sometimes. My God. Like I said, y'all, my mind be all over the place. I be coming up with all kind of stuff. And I just, you know, learned in a sense that I'm a hyper person, right? Me and my daughter had this come to Jesus moment yesterday. So my mind is always working. And there's so many things I could post, but I'm like, nah, I ain't going to post that because I might get in trouble. Somebody might get mad or whatever the case is. So 98% of the stuff that comes to my mind, I don't even post. But some people, everything that comes to their mind, they post and they talk about it. And then you wonder why you be in trouble all the time because you don't have the ability to close your two lips. Respectfully. Monet, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lady Diana, what's going on with you? Panther Strike, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says Queen Demetria, when your broadcast ended yesterday, I turned my back to reach for something, and the very next video was Soundgarden's Fell on Black Day's song, True Irony, for the racist Charlie Kirk. I don't know if I'm familiar with that song from them, but I'm sure it's apropos to what you were saying. S. Williams, how you doing? So the only difference between Dylan Roof and Charlie Kirk is that Kirk didn't have a gun in his hand. They both had the same ideology. Yeah, he just kept on ramrodding false ideologies about black people. And it was like, golly. And again, it's not even really black people as much that's celebrating him no longer being here. It's women, it's white people, it's all kind of people who was like, I saw this one dude, he went on some college campus, I don't know where it was, and he interviewed a whole bunch of white people. And I kid you not, I'm not saying this is right, but a white girl was like, well, sis, somebody had to do it. It's a white woman who said that. And the guy was blown away. Like, I don't know, maybe he was thinking they was going to be like, well, you know, she was like, it was crazy. One who cares says, I heard a fourth grader call a student who looks like me a ninja when asked why. He said he was mad. See, it's crazy. Fresh Air, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. It says, I bought $5 worth of shares of Smith and Wesson today because you know that's about to go up. You ain't lying. Alexander, you say he spoke against the Alphabet Mafia and Satanists. Also, yeah, he had a lot of enemies. I would say that. He had a lot of people who didn't like him. The average logical thinker says, imagine being one of the whitest states speaking about blacks to get shot by a white. Yeah, Utah, I guess it would be considered one of the whitest states. Tapas, how you doing? He says, that was their Martin Luther King. That's what they saying. You know, on one hand, they hate the man, and now the one that they deem to be there. It's like this is bizarro world, you know. Okay. Georgetta, how you doing? Says, tell Demetri the story about the government taking the black man out of the home. He says, and taking the black man out of the home and putting your black in jail for nothing. Absolutely. See, he don't want to tell that part of the story. He just said these folks calling for a war watcher 12, 3, 6, 9, and 12 position. You ain't lying. All right, let me see. I'm gonna try to get to the bottom, y'all. How you doing? Long time no see. Bobby's channel was going on. She says, don't forget to mention the fact that there are a lot of conservatives who are Charlie Kirk's fans. I see all over YouTube. We have to deal with black conservatives in this community. Yeah, but you know, when they talking about white men must rise up, they ain't talking about they black selves coming with them. Y'all not gonna be able to go with it. It's just silliness, right? Magman says time to rise up is a dog whistle to attack innocent people. Yep. Brother Jonell, how you doing? I hope that you're doing well. And what's the temperature in Chicago, if you don't mind me asking? Menahem, how you doing? It says the race war will be Christian nationalism. Well, I'm glad I don't partake in none of that. Bart, how you doing? It says it's really racist. It's really racism podcast. I don't even know what you're talking about, but how you doing? All right, skipping down because I'm gonna try to catch up. Rammer, how you doing? It says, yeah, Charlie Manson, the gallant goon. So they're talked about who was trying to start the race war, and that was in the 60s, by the way. My aunt, how you doing? Just like Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yep. Cooking with Miss D. Did I say hello to you? If not, hello. I know I'm so behind. That's okay. Em, you're really on time. I'm behind in the comments. Ocean View Coffee Shop, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Coach B, what's going on? Yep, helter skelter. If you know, you know. Tahada, how you doing? Says, did they ever catch the shooter? No, it doesn't sound like it. As of this moment, they haven't. Sounds like they know what he looks like, but they don't know who he is. Black Pixie, how you doing? Says, we're babies in the 60s. I was 5. I wasn't there yet. I was born in 71. Black Wolf, says, because they know y'all hate them. Okay, Lala, how you doing? Says, keep y'all energy safe, fam. They've been trying to find a way to bring us in. Yeah, I got a big shoulder shrug, to be honest with you. Brother Jonell says, welcome to America. This has always been the American way, our best solution in separation from a society with the practice of murder and foundation of immorality. What its future in its endless showing of hell and death. Revelations 18:4, consider the time 13. Absolutely. Lady Diana says, HBCUs on lockdown and extra security because of threats. Yeah, and what do they have to do with it? HBCUs have nothing to do with it at all. Thank you, Sister Cynthia. He says, Demetri, I just tagged you in a video from Malcolm X comparing the white liberals to the white conservatives. Brother X said, beware of the white liberal. Yes, that's what he said. It's a very famous, right? And he warned about the liberal more than the conservative because we kind of know what the conservative's about, but the liberal, pretends to like us and they do not. So yeah, and it sounds like people are really starting to get that message now. Let's see. Patrick says, I believe his demise is a part of a large influence of white community. And Charlie was just now speaking about Israel. That is true, too. There's a lot of people saying he was starting to be outspoken about Israel and the Epstein files. And so I've also seen a lot of people saying, did Trump do this? Is this orchestrated, right? I'm like, oh, Lord. Here we go. The GTW, how you doing, says he funded diaspora wars, too. You think so? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Harley Land, he says, I truly feel he was sacrificed for something bigger that's coming. That's what I've seen a lot of people say. How true it is, I don't know. And of course, if that is true, we'll never know, right? Sharon says, bloodlust sounds like sacrifice. I'm just listening. Sydney, how you doing? Always a pleasure to have you here. He says, so let's go back a few months ago. Was a certain person who was running for president actually shot? It appears that he was. The CIA and everybody else said that he was shot even before he got in office. They said that he was shot. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I get it, the conspiracy theories, but I guess Trump would have been 78 at the time. I don't know how much of a stunt man he really could be. Whether he have like a little blood pack that would bust on. You know what I'm saying? Like there was really two people that got shot and then one got killed. So were they faking? You know what I mean? And I see that. And Sydney, I love you, but that's part of that. It's bad on the right and the left, right? But I know a lot of people on the left, and I heard it from a lot of people, not just you. Oh, it was fake, it was staged. But it's like, okay, well, what about the two people that lost their lives? And then the man that did the shooting, and they, killed him. So were they faking? I don't know. Just help me out.
And then you also got to think about, it takes a lot of skill to kill somebody with the rifle. 1963 in JFK, think about, they got their target. They didn't hit either of the first ladies and almost killed Connolly. But basically, nobody could, the guy got a headshot and his wife is sitting right next to him. It takes a very skilled person to do a assassination. It takes a lot of skill. And there was a lot of bullets poured into that car in 1963.
Right. Yeah, because this thing yesterday, did they say it was one shot or two? I don't know. But whatever it was, the one that hit, oh man, it wasn't no Graves, it wasn't no Nick. They like, if you saw it, Donovan, I don't know if you saw it, don't watch it. Because I know you've been through a lot. Especially, and I don't know what happened. We kind of just froze up. Did you see us freeze up? That was weird. I don't know what happened. StreamYard is tripping. Oh my God. I forgot what I was saying.
You didn't want me to see the. You didn't want me to see the.
Oh, yeah, because it was very violent, right? The nature of it was, when you saw it, you just knew that there was no way he was surviving that. Asha, you says, was Anton crying? I have no idea. Is he on it like that? Easy says his body's being flown to Arizona on Air Force One, 2. So telling all of his supporters and like-minded individuals in Congress. So he's going on Air Force One. Okay. A death before dishonor. How you doing? Herb, what's going on with you? Let's see. Oh gosh, we got 8 minutes left. I'm trying to get to the bottom, and Donovan, I'm gonna give it to you. Jacoby, what's going on? It says at this point we just need to stay out of it because Trump is about to get butt naked and acting fool. I do not want to see that.
No, keep going and try to read as many comments as you can. Keep going.
Okay, I'm getting to the bottom. Herb, you say Charlie thought the level of gun violence was acceptable because he thought the odds were in his favor to avoid that situation. Learn the hard way. Okay. Going down to the bottom. Lie, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Dark Wing, what's going on? It says, do Christians know the cross was a torture device? Imagine if Jesus was electrocuted, with followers walking around with an electric chair pendant honoring the device. Absolutely. The cross signifies death. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I answered that and I said, well, remember death row? So people would walk around with the death row.
Right. Panther Strike says Charlie has been running his mouth for 13 years about FBA. Now, if that isn't living rent free in a racist head, I don't know what is. Absolutely. Mad Dog says black people stand down and step back. This is not our business. I totally agree with you. Almighty Fan, he says I'm definitely stepping back. Yeah, I mean, we have, you know, it has nothing to do with us. Catherine, how you doing? Hello, hello. Albie Chill, what's going on with you? Let's see. He says you're about to go spar. And Most High, how you doing? Says he almost spoke on Epstein. Yeah, also spoke on Epstein. Yes, and that's what they were saying, that he was, you know, you think about it, he's got a large, he had millions of followers on all of his platforms. So he getting to talking about that stuff. They're like, well, we only want him to influence people to be racist, right? We don't want him to influence people to be thinking about these Epstein files and, you know, Gaza and all of that. So,
and remember, Congress has authorized the president to designate anybody a terrorist and execute them for death by categorizing them as a terrorist, which basically, as an American citizen, goes against our Constitution. But guess what? We keep the people in fear, they will give up their rights. This is still in effect to today. You guys, a lot of people don't know that, but the president, Obama, used that when he assassinated that American jihadist over in the Middle East.
Detroit HPTV says, you over here selling out Black conservatives on an African woke hustle channel. Wow. Look, just gets an eye roll. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, okay. Because I'm not a Black conservative. Not in the sense that you think that I am, okay? I don't rep team red or blue or anything like that. If you want to bang for the for conservatives, you do your Crip walk or whatever it is y'all doing up over there. I was gonna say something else, but I get in trouble. Sydney, he says, now we are not going to talk about blue versus red. This is a white on white crime, and we should stay out of it. I agree with you. You know, I agree there. Easy says, University of Michigan professor says Charlie Kirk assassination is solution to violent rhetoric per MSNBC news report. Yeah, so them people finna be losing their jobs. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes people just learn how to be quiet. Yolo, how you doing? Says, hey, hello, just joined and just seen a headline saying that Trump is awarding Charlie Kirk Medal of Freedom. Yep, absolutely. And like I said, Donovan, y'all veterans out there, y'all don't feel a way about that?
No, because there's a civilian Medal of Freedom. They have medals for military contractors, you know, civilian workforce. So they have those medals for them.
Got you. Well, then that makes sense. Okay. I don't know. Tiarka, how you doing? Says they blaming us because we're not sad. We're minding our own business. Yeah, you can't make us be sad. You know, back on the plantation, slaves was at the funeral, and then when they went back home, but like, he got on my damn nerves anyway. You know, so Malcolm X said when they the house slave will say that when he heard Massa call the code, he's like, oh, Massa, we sick. But he said when the field slave heard that the Massa called the code, they said they was hoping and praying and wishing he died. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's see. Tanaya, how you doing? Says I bet the shooter. I bet the sniper was ex-military sharpshooter. He was something. I'm gonna tell you right now. He did not miss. Al, how you doing? Says Mark from Orc. Said, I don't know how much value I have. I made some people happier than they would have been without me. It says, as soon as I know that I'm rich as I need to be.
Yeah, and you know, and I want to bring up the fact that, and somebody said in the chat, you got these prosthetics that a lot of these people are using, especially white supremacists, where they put these prosthetics on to look like they're Black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever. And these are some pretty good things because you can use 3D printers and stuff, and they look really, really good. So again, it's getting worse and worse and worse, and how they blame things on people and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if they caught the shooter. I don't know, you know, anything that's going on today. But like I said, we've been hearing different reports. But I'm going to wait until they actually got the guy in custody. But here's the catch. Do you guys actually think they're going to catch the patsy alive? Do you actually believe that?
I don't think they're going to catch him at all. I mean, because by now they'd have caught him. I'm thinking, you know, whoever that was, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people working together there. You know, like right. The guy that was snatched up at first, who was carrying on the way he was.
Yeah. And then what's the first rule in assassination, Demetra?
Assassinate the assassinator.
Exactly.
Just reading the comments. Let me skip down. He says you missed a Detroit person. Yeah, he on here somewhere. acting stupid, but I guess my business.
Now remember, we love the trolls. They keep the algorithm going. So
now, why is the Naval Academy under lockdown? Right? See, people tripping. Now, you know what? I went to the gym this morning, went to the store, and I came back home. That's what I do, right? For the most part, I go out and do what I need to do and come on back. Cause but we've been warned about this a long time ago that this time was coming, right? So if you out there out and about and thinking you have no cares in the world, you might want to rethink things,
Yeah, and you got to remember, a lot of countries, the Roman Empire, a lot of these great empires, it wasn't they were defeated necessarily by this greater enemy. It was the enemy within, is what basically did them in. Even the Nazi regime, they tried to kill Hitler from within, right? It starts from within. So the lockdown of the Naval Academy, it starts from within.
Yeah. West Avenue, how you doing? So that sounds weak. I'm a black conservative. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know what he was talking about, to be honest with you, but I guess he just made a comment for today. Obsidian, how you doing? Says, I saw a documentary about a sleeper cell on how they got guns, that special bullets that can go through multiple people without killing them or them feeling it and killing its intended target. I bet, and speaking of, Charlie, I don't even know if he even knew what hit him, to be honest with you, because that right there is what I don't know. He wasn't going to make that one. And it's unfortunate. Brenda, you says the jackal. And Cindy, you says there is a video out that shows there was a man who gave a signal. Yeah, I saw some people saying it was fake. I don't know. You would think that if it is real, right? I'm not saying it's not, that the FBI, whoever, be talking more about it, but it sounds like they're trying to keep as much stuff under wraps as possible. JBWR says the current currency exchange is under lock down. See, stay in the house. Kimmy, how you doing? Says infighting. Most definitely. Tanaya says Trojan horse. Michelle says you all should watch The Day of the Jackal on Peacock. Excellent series. He changed his mass identity every time he commits murder. Very good series. Yeah, you would think by now people doing that kind of stuff, they probably are changing their identity or whatever. Brother Don, he says, did you see the two guys behind him? Yeah, I saw that. I don't know how true it is. I saw people saying that it was staged, it was fake. Who knows, right? I guess, and as Donovan keeps alluding to the JFK files, a lot of that stuff we'll never know. They're releasing some of the stuff now, but what is 1,000 years ago?
Yeah, most of the files that have any pertinence of relevancy, they destroyed that back in the 60s and the 70s. That's long gone. You're never going to see that. And most of the people that have been involved in that, they're dead.
Right. So now it's like there's, hell, only person that's left pretty much is Caroline and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and some of the grandkids, whatever, but and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Right. And if you think about it, if you talk about the JFK assassination, there's two official government conclusions. One, they say Lee Harvey Oswald did it. And then in 1975, the Select Commission on Assassination said he died probably due to a conspiracy. That's the two official government conclusions. and American people, our parents, just sit by and say, oh, well, you got two conflicting conclusions here. Either there was a conspiracy or there wasn't.
Right. If it wasn't you, I think you're probably behind. It wasn't you, it was us. I don't know what happened. Every once in a while, that'll happen. It's the system. Y'all, I got this fan. It's hot. I can't wait till it cools down. I am not lying, y'all.
Man, it's nice and cool here. Summer's over in California.
I felt very compelled to flip you the bird, but then that would have been rude, especially in front of all these people. So somebody says, pass the peas like we used to do. Al says it's a conspiracy theory that his finger on the left moved to another finger after he was shot. Huh? See, yeah, there's a lot. I don't even know what that means. Brother Sammy says, I feel it's possible he was not to be killed, just the attempt to really to rally support. I think you meant thinking about the timing of the question. That's possible. The shooter will never be caught. Yeah, I don't think he'll be caught either. I could be wrong, right? Repentant, how you doing? Brother Don said, remember today.
The shooter is probably already
that or out of here, right? Because
they are not going to let him live. They're those of us that have been in the military and that seen things like this with special ops, that they are not going to let that person live. It's just not going to happen.
Well, the last person that took an aim at Trump, he lived.
But is he the shooter or is he the patsy?
That's the one they caught by the fence when he was golfing.
Right. Exactly. But he didn't kill the person yet.
Well, he tried to. But yeah, you're right. Most of the time they don't, survive. And when they kill black people, they do.
Yeah, because remember, when it comes to assassination, you've got payrolls, time schedules, a lot of connections. So you get that guy at the lowest level, and he's done. It's all good.
Yeah, Mike. Nobody's saying anything about the children in Denver. Nobody's outraged and crying and head turning red and stuff. Nobody's doing all of that about those children. But that goes to show you they don't. It's selective outrage. I mean, I understand they're mad because it's Charlie, but y'all don't care about the kids. Y'all the party of pro-life and all of that, and nothing about the children. Interesting. You know what? Y'all better quit playing with these comments. I see some of y'all comments. In the world, you says disappeared and used as a political football. Ain't no telling AD how you doing since they let Luigi live. Yeah, Luigi's still alive. That's gonna be very interesting, right?
Right. But see, when they actually hit their target and the target is eliminated, those guys are gone. If the target survives, hey, he's crazy, he's a nut job. You could just put all these things on him. But if he hits the target, he's not going to live because other people are involved at a higher level.
It definitely raises a lot of eyebrow in regards to all that's happened. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they allow us to know, right? Easy says Sniper has changed his facial with Mission Impossible mask by now. You would think, right? Byron says exactly. Babylon. AD says the Turning Point USA CEO and co-founder Charlie Kirk once said, "I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up new age term. It does a lot of damage." Well, we have to take him at his word, right? Alex says the wedding ring on his left finger was on his pinky finger after he was shot. I still don't know what that means. Are you saying it's AI or something? Is that what you're saying? Michelle says Trump didn't mention the Democrat politician who was killed last month. No flags at half staff for her. Yeah. So they fake. It's fake outrage, and then they want everybody to fall down on their knees and stuff behind this. I'm not, saying you have to or you don't, but it's fake outrage. They're talking about, it's political violence. Well, political violence happens all the time. It's just not fun when it happens to somebody you know and love, But yeah. Okay, so let's see. We're about to get out of here. Ender says, look at JFK, all ops dead within a few days. Oh, yeah. It was like one after the other, right? Cindy says, watching the video, that was a sniper. Oh, for sure. For sure. That wasn't no novice. You ain't lying about that. Mike Nice says Jason Bourne feel to it. Okay. Vanessa says we're all going down for some crap. Shoot, not me. Kimmy
but
says
there was a saying in the movie Unforgiven. What did he say? We all got it coming.
Right. When we say we all, mean y'all, not me. I just be staying in the house. 80 says, why are they threatening the HBCUs? I don't know. They ain't got nothing to do with it, right? It didn't happen at an HBCU. Cindy says Al was saying the video was doctored. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's doctored or not. Stranger things have happened. Herbie says if it was an assassination, he weighed down in the Gulf of Mexico by now. I agree. He says lots of water in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of America. It's Gulf of Mexico. Tonight's definitely a professional show for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm in conclusion for me, I'm just going to say this. Just like I read at the beginning, it was a sacrifice and made a martyr out of this guy to garner them ginning up the mob. And we know what ginning up the mob means. They martyred this man to gin up the mob.
Absolutely. Mad Dog Media TV. How you doing? Miss Sweet says, laugh out loud, not me. I'm not claiming any of it. Nah, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Ali says his before he was shot, his wedding finger was on his middle finger. After he was shot in, it was on his pinky. Okay, so you're saying it was doctored. Stranger things have happened. I will not say yes or no. I don't know. Spanky Pound, is that what that is? LB, how you doing? Says that man clearly a white man, and I'd like to know what are they going to say when they find out he's a Trump supporter who did it. I don't know. It's very interesting. Everybody's waiting on pins and needles to see exactly, who he is. The first, I think he says they're saying the video's doctor because Kirk's ring switched fingers. Okay, well, so is Kirk hiding somewhere? Enuma, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Norma says the devil changed the ring for him. Cindy says, Donovan, you think it's our version of Parliament being burned?
Well, and Sydney's referring to the Reichstag fire. No, I don't think it's that. I think it is the martyrdom to increase white supremacy's prevalence, saying, see, we told you how violent and stuff like that. If you go back and you look up the Nazi martyrdom, they use that time and time again to gain power in municipalities. They would like sacrifice somebody and say, see, the communists killed them or the black guy killed them. And then the fear of people gave them more power. So they martyred this guy to do what they need to do, to take power, to take more power.
Catherine, are you saying that's who they have? Jackson Fleming, is that the person that's responsible? Dear self, how you doing? It says I have one thing to say. You know what? You saying run, I'll say that. Now back to minding my
Dear self, Ben. Dear self has been in and out. It's been a while.
Yeah, she's been here. And Mike said Kirk is hiding at Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Byron says America's a very violent country. Yes, it is. Joe, how you doing? Says, yeah, the ring switches, blood don't drop to the ground and disappears, and black mark on the shirt removed. If you watch it with the AI stuff in mind, it's pretty obvious it was AI enhanced somehow. Okay, Catherine says naval base. Maccabi, how you doing? Long time no see. Says he went out how he was giving up, talking out the said talking out the side of his neck. I was up late last night.
Cameo.
I was up late last night, kind of just watching a lot of this stuff unfold. Twitter is a mess. X is just in shambles, right? So there's an account on Twitter or X labeled Lucifer. Lucifer posted, Kirk has made it to hell. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute. And I tell you, people were pissed. They're like, this is low even for you, Lucifer. I'm like, they know it ain't really the devil, right? It's like an account that says, I guess the account belongs to Lucifer. But talk about he's arrived in hell. I was like, I'm going to laugh myself into an oblivion because what? They were upset. And then the Lucifer account was going back and forth with him like, what? Are y'all shocked? I'm probably going to get in trouble for that one. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. FBA or nothing, how you doing? I don't know if I'll be back here tomorrow. If anything else transpires, maybe they catch the guy or something, I'll come back on here. As you guys know, it's my Friday. Raven, how you doing? So now that's funny. I thought it was funny. I know a lot of people are going to get mad. That's messed up. Well, I think that we all know that the Lucifer account on X, y'all should go check it out. It's pretty funny. I'm into dark humor. I don't think the Lucifer account is worse than us having to see people taking photos, doing a George Floyd per se, putting their knee on people's necks, laughing. I think the Lucifer account is mild, because they laugh at all kind of stuff. I remember it wasn't that long ago when they was making AI depictions of black people, black women, and it just doing the most, right? And so it's like, y'all mad because Lucifer was like, I'm telling y'all he's here now, okay? If you're wondering where he went, he's here. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see y'all. Yes, they took pictures of Kobe and all, yeah, and Vanessa got a lot of money because they sick. They thought it was funny to be taking pictures of Kobe's, remains and stuff and passing around at a bar. Crip, she says, how do you actually know two people really lost their lives when Trump was shot? And should we just believe everything the CIA says? No, we shouldn't.
Okay, stop right there. The CIA does not do any investigative powers within the borders of the United States. You mean the FBI?
Right.
Now, we know the CIA does some shiesty stuff, but when it comes to like official like that, that's FBI territory. CIA doesn't have the congressional authorization by law to do any kind of investigative stuff inside the United States.
Yeah. And before we leave too, I'm just going to say to everybody out there who is mad that everybody is celebrating and things like this, I'm going to say this. I know that hurts to see that. I don't wish anybody any ill will or anything like that. But are you more mad at the people who are celebrating than why they're mad, right? Like, because when I see people crashing out, and then I'm not one of those people celebrating, so it's just not me. But I see people crashing out because people are celebrating or saying they're not going to mourn. But it's like, did y'all even take into account why these people are celebrating? I mean, this man talked very horrible about Black people. Now, whether some of that is true or not, that who died and put him in a position to say anything to Black people? How do you sidestep your own people's issues and talk to Black people? We didn't appoint you the spokesperson for Black people. So y'all mad that people are saying stuff, but you're not mad at the stuff he was saying. Very incendiary. He knew what he was doing. He knew the stuff that he was saying was going to get a rise out of people. He didn't go into those college campuses and say, well, I'm just here to talk to you guys nicely about the weather and things. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he was going to go viral. He knew people were going to talk about it. I mean, everybody on the African Diaspora News Channel, I think, has covered a story about Charlie Kirk at least once, right? So he knew what he was doing. And unfortunately, as I said yesterday, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, your invoice will come back to you. The invoice will come back. Of all the things that you've done, it will come back to you. And you will have to pay the price. And I said this to my daughter about Charlie Kirk earlier because we've been talking about this. I said, for whatever reason, I'm not saying it's right, but for whatever reason that person did to Charlie, what they did to him, the invoice came to Charlie, and with all the money that he had, he could not afford to pay, because sometimes that invoice says, I want you to pay with your life, right? So we must be careful of the things that we say and we do to people.
Remember, it was called COD, cash on delivery.
Yeah, but sometimes you write a check, your ass can't cash, right? Sometimes, and I want a little something else, right? Again, I'm not wishing anything on, Charlie, or I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm just saying this is for all of us. We got to be careful of the things that we say, because when it's time to ante up, will you be able to do that?
Last, not least, before we go, ladies, please. Go get you a man or go get you a weapon to protect yourself. We are in some serious times, and this is not the time.
Where are we supposed to go get a man from?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Get you something to protect you, be it a man, be it a weapon, in all seriousness, because it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And unfortunately, there's a lot of women in our community that are out there unprotected.
I know where we can get a man.
Where?
And maybe a weapon. It's a store. It's called Dick's. There is a store called Dick's. Ain't it Dick's Sporting Goods? So they might have a man in there and they got some weapons, right? It's a one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
Listen, I said that I need to go to Home Depot, and I told my daughter I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'm going to go in there, looking real snazzy. I'm just going for a little something, but I might as well go in there, and button up a little bit, put a little lipstick on and say, can you show me to the nails? I'm just saying. But if you can show us where the men are, Donovan, the man store where you said go get you a man, show us.
Wait. I shouldn't have to tell you where to go get the man. Where'd you get your man? Your baby daddy. Ladies, the base, the military bases, and the VFW.
Let me clarify, okay? My man got me. I didn't go get no man. My baby daddy got me. Every man that I've had got me. I didn't go get no man. So that's why I was asking, where this man store at? Okay, I gotta
go to the base on soul nights. Back in our day, it was Wednesdays and Thursdays.
We go to the VFW. I'm getting in cat suit shape ready. I think I can put dust off my cat suit and my little thigh high boots. Yes. Anyway, love and appreciate. What was you gonna say, Donovan?
No, I'm just saying. In all seriousness, no, ladies. Again, if you're one of the pacifists or you people like that, I'm telling you, we are getting into some serious times, and nobody's going to be fighting to go defend your family when an encounter could take a couple of seconds, and that's it, and things are done.
You're right. Stay away. I had some good times on the military base. We'll be here all day talking about the good times that I had. The times that we shared together. Shout out to Jodeci. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a problem with the military bases, but I might be a little too old. They're a little too young for me now. I'm more VFW style. I went to a VFW a couple years ago. I was like, oh my God. It smelled like Bengay and depression up in here. Anyway, I love y'all. See y'all Sunday for sure. Maybe tomorrow something else pops off. Peace.